This is feedback and model answers for the Component 3 mock, and this is paper 3 of that. We're on question 2. We're presented with a graph, and it shows the changes in the size of stomatal pores over a 24-hour period. They think they're being helpful by, in brackets, stomatal aperture. That doesn't, if you don't know what a stomatal pore is, stomatal aperture won't help you. If they said the holes in leaves near the guard cells, then that might be slightly more helpful. And so we're looking at guard cells there, and the stomatal pore is the hole or the gap. And on this graph here we've got time of the day, 24-hour clock, we're fine there. One line is sunny, one is cloudy day, that's okay. Stomatal aperture, well, you can sort of consider this to be kind of open and closed there, and varying degrees of that. They've told us there's a dip in the graph there, that's the dip they're talking about. Describe and explain two other differences, so we can't talk about that dip. We'll be talking about that dip later on. And right, and let's go for the obvious, shall we? Let's have the fact that this line for the sunny day is higher than the cloudy day. So we can say the stomatal aperture is bigger, wider than on a cloudy day. So that's our first obvious. So aperture increases, and I'm going to use the words that are given in the graph. So the stomatal aperture is increased on a sunny day, or they open wider. Stomata open wider on a sunny day. Why? Well, what makes them open? And you know it is the light. That's the cause of that. So higher light intensity, so more light. A second difference, so we've gone for the obvious one. Second one, well, if you look at the start here, which one goes up first? We've got if it's a sunny day, it starts going up first, and then cloudy, it goes up a bit later, and likewise on the other side, the sunny one is still open more than the cloudy one, even when the light is low. So let's just describe this first part. The stomata open earlier on a sunny day. Stomata open earlier on a sunny day. And reason for that, it's lighter earlier. So there's more light earlier on in the day, so they open. It sounds a bit obvious, doesn't it? It is lighter earlier in the day. And you could, if you were talking about the other side, you say it was lighter later. Other things you could have said, you said the rate of opening, so the gradient of this line. So there's a steeper gradient, so faster opening on a sunny day, slower opening on a cloudy day. You could have said that. But we've gone for the possibly more obvious ones. Suggest a reason for the dip on a sunny day. So this is strange. You'd expect this to be even higher, but it isn't. So there's obviously some sort of problem, and we are just really trying to guess. Why isn't water coming out of the plant? Well, maybe it's run out of water, or the plant's doing something to reduce that transpiration. So something like, the plant is conserving water, preventing wilting. There's too much water lost. So plant conserves water to prevent wilting. Well, there's too much water lost. That sort of idea. We'll forgive you that one. Just 1 mark. You don't need 100% to get the A star. Question B1. The general name given to a plant that grows in dry conditions. We won't forgive you this if you've forgotten this. You need to know this. Xerophytes. Xerophytes in low water conditions, mesophytes in the middle, hydrophytes in very wet conditions. And here's one. We've never seen it before. It doesn't look like the ones that you've studied. Hypocuris radicata, whatever that is. But it grows extensively in sand dunes, and sand dunes just very dry environments. What do we notice? Well, the thing it's drawing our attention to is the long root, and then it actually wants 2 features shown in the diagram. So we can only talk about things that we can see. We can't talk about other useful things. In fact, later on, we've got another 2 marks for suggesting those. So shown in the diagram. Let's go for the easiest thing. It has got a very long root. Long root. And then we can suggest a couple of suggestions. Well, what are roots for? They provide a surface area in contact with the soil for the absorption of water. So we've got more roots, so more surface area of root as a possibility. Or indeed, possibly as we go down deeper, there's more water deeper because of less evaporation from the soil and the sand and so on. Or maybe there's some different types of soil further down with more water. So either of those 2 would be fine there. So larger surface area for absorption, or you could say reaches down further for water. Either of those 2 will do. You don't need both of them. And then we're possibly a little bit stuck with this next one. And if you look at this, the height of this plant, well, this is in centimetres, so it's about 3 centimetres. So this plant's only, the size of this kind of pen lid, even though it goes down so far. So that might be useful. Having small leaves closer to the ground, that sort of thing. So I'm going to put small leaves. And generally we're trying to include answers that you know about and you can use from your notes. So if there's smaller leaves that you see there, then there's going to be less transpiration. And you might have done a potometer experiment this with leaf area versus water uptake. So smaller leaves will be less transpiration. And so that reduces water loss. We could have said as well that with it being nearer to the ground, there's going to be less wind coming, and that's another experiment that you'll have recognised, and so less transpiration. And then we've got two other, so make sure we give two, so maybe one on each line down here. Structural features, so that means things that you can see, not opening or closing or anything like that, but actual structure shown by plants that grow in dry conditions. And so we just remember, for example, our marram grass, which is the other type of plant that you know about from sand dunes, that's got a rolled, curved leaf, and the stomata are kind of in very sunken at the end of these kind of pits. And there's hairs, all to prevent water vapour from escaping. So let's give a couple of those. Let's give a rolled leaf shape. We could have a sunken stomata. We could have talked about these leaves here. We could have talked about this cuticle being thicker. We don't need to give an explanation, and indeed we've only got a line each for each of these. So it just says, you know, kind of give us the structure, and that's all we need to total our 12 marks.